Good morning, we're in Florence, Italy. We're shooting for the next few days with the new Fujifilm GFX 100. Now, this is the first medium format camera to offer inbuilt stabilization, and it's a 100 megapixel chip. The really cool thing about this is it's about the same size as a professional DSLR. You just forget that you're shooting medium format after a while. But the resolution, when you come to a scene like this, and the fact that you can hand-hold this at telephoto is really extraordinary. So the next few days we'll be spending some time with Clara Vannucci, who's an editorial and commercial photographer here in Florence. And we're going to be shooting a range of different situations with the new Fujifilm GFX 100. It's May. Why are they using a leaf blower in May?
Florence, birthplace of the Renaissance. Situated on the Arno River, Florence was originally settled by Julius Caesar, a man who knew a nice view when he saw it. It's a stunning city home to countless examples of world-renowned art, design, and engineering. The meandering cobblestone streets open into beautiful piazzas, where Florentines and tourists alike gather in huge numbers to meet Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Pinocchio. We've come to Florence to meet editorial photographer Clara Vannucci. We brought along the Fujifilm GFX 100 for her to try, and in exchange, she let us tag along on a few assignments, provided we didn't get in the way.
Attenta, attenta. I'm Clara Vannucci. I'm an Italian documentary photographer. I used to be very focused on the criminal justice system. I also do commercial stuff and editorials for the New York Times, for example. And I do work a lot for Vogue as well, doing travel reportage.
The Fujifilm GFX 100 is a new generation medium format camera. Built around an all-new, stabilized 100 megapixel sensor, the GFX 100 produces exceptionally detailed images. With a high-resolution viewfinder, on-sensor phase detection autofocus, top-mounted display panel, rear touchscreen, twin control dials, and a slick, heavily customizable interface. Twin SD card slots and 2 batteries mean that this is one medium format camera that doesn't need to be tied to a computer or a power outlet. Clara's first shoot took us to an abandoned tobacco factory to meet Benedetta Porcaroli, an actress and model known for her work on the Italian Netflix series Baby.
We are at the Manifattura Tabacchi. It's an amazing place in Florence. It used to be a tobacco factory. There were more than 1,700 employees working here, and it was a small city for them because some of them would actually live here as well. I really liked the fact that Benedetta, the actress, was actually able to be here because she's so photogenic and I love photographing her. And I thought it was the perfect match to have her in this kind of location. This is going to be a very important part of the city that is going to change. So I felt it was important to actually photograph her here because this place actually means a lot for us from Florence. Una con la luce, grazie.
As well as editorial commissions, Clara has been working on a long-term personal project, covering the ancient and very violent game of Calcio Storico. Calcio Storico was first played in the 15th century and revived 500 years later under Mussolini, because the 1930s weren't violent enough.
Perfetto.
Clara has been documenting the Bianchi team and has come to know the players and the coaches very well.
Perfetto. The Bianchi are one of the 4 teams of the Calcio Storico Fiorentino. That is a very ancient sport played here in Florence, usually in the square of Santa Croce. Kind of ancient football or something like that. There are a few rules, but basically you can fight and punch and kick wherever you want.
At first glance, Calcio Storico shares some similarities with soccer or rugby. 2 sides try to put a ball into a net. But imagine a soccer or rugby match being played in the middle of a violent pitch invasion.
It's too brutal to be a sport, but too small to be a war.
Kicking, choking, grappling, scratching and slapping are all fair play in pursuit of victory.
A lot of people, when they see it for the first time, they are like maybe a little bit shocked, but it's a war game, so it's a very tough game. It's okay for us, you know, it's normal for us.
It's actually pretty exciting. They were like fighting with themselves, and it was really an intense experience, I believe, to photograph. I was really surprised on the camera because I really thought it was like more of a studio camera, and instead it reacted pretty well to the movement and the fast movement and the low light, that it wasn't very easy to catch.
And just as a reminder, this is a practice. They're not actually even trying to hurt each other. They're training for the big match less than a month away.
We share blood, sweat and tears, you know, so it's, I think it's great. It's the best feeling ever for me, so.
The next morning, we woke early with plans to go to the Tuscan wine country. But Clara wanted to make a quick stop along the way to visit her elderly grandmother.
It was probably the most intense moment for me, of course, because it was kind of real, you know, like the situation was really strong. Because I think she could understand really like that something was going on. And I really loved to photograph her over the years. And then we went to the countryside. We went there to photograph an artist, a sculptor.
We are in the middle between Siena and Florence. This area is the most important for the red wine, Sangiovese. My name is Lorenzo and I work on stone. I'm a sculptor.
He was actually doing his granite sculpture over there in the countryside. And it was an amazing day and the location was great.
Lorenzo is creating a stone sculpture designed to spin on its axis. Using a small scale model, he showed us how it will work.
Equilibrium between the line on the middle and the exterior of the stone. So I use the energy from the stone for twist the stone.
I think it was great to use the camera also in a different situation. It wasn't that fast like the one before, but it wasn't even like a posed portrait. So it was like really catching the moment while he was doing the sculpture. More reportage style.
We think that we are alive and the stone is dead, but it's the more alive is the stone. It's more long life is the stone. We are lucky to be in this planet.
The day done, Lorenzo put down his tools and invited us inside to drink some of the region's famous wine. We're not going to show you that. Here's some B-roll of Florence instead. In addition to 100 megapixel stills, the GFX 100 also shoots high-quality video in 4K or HD. Before we knew it, our time with Clara was coming to an end. It was a fun, exhausting few days watching her work and getting a taste of life in Tuscany with an artist fortunate enough to be able to call it home.
I'm not a studio photographer, so I thought that it would have been too heavy for me or too big, and actually I found out that it was a lot lighter than I expected, and it was like more usable in different kind of situation. I mean, it was pretty fast in the dark as well. That's a big revolution, I think, for medium format cameras.
For DPReview, I'm Barney Britton. Ciao.